Let's turn to the 13th chapter of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians. This morning, I beg you not to use your outline because you jumped a week ahead. I didn't relate to Harry that we're going to look at last Sunday's message, which we missed because of the storm. And so she conscientiously did this week's, which was expected. So let's see how good you will be without your notes today. Let's look at the 8th verse. Love never fails. And we're looking at love in marriage. Ooh, not everybody is married here. Why do that? We're just concluding the Valentine month. And that was going to be good for a Valentine Day. But Providence chose to do things otherwise. So we still make it Valentine. Somebody says, for me, Valentine is every day, not just some days. But if the whole interpretation of Valentine has to do with love at all levels, we begin to see that love commences at that place where the marriage in the human context is placed where it should be. Have you ever found in yourself a reason to love somebody else? Don't let them make you love them. You make yourself love them. Your spouse, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, have you said, for this reason, I will love them? A gentleman was celebrating his 25th anniversary. And to show how much he treasured his wife, he gave this illustration. A gentleman who'd been married had the option of marrying between two women. The one was very good looking, the other was not. You've heard that before, so you better shut up. Okay, let's go ahead. He ended up marrying the other anyway, but she was very good at singing. One night he wakes up and he realizes beside him is that lady who was less good looking than the other. And he said, why not? Then he realized and then woke up. You wake up in the middle of the night. He said, what's wrong with you? Then he just looked at her and said, sing! I suspect if she did not sing, he might have asked, get out of my house. So he realized why he loved and wanted that repeated. Have you ever thought of that? Why should I love? Who should I love? When should I love? How long should I love? The text before us tells us love simply never ends. Where love assumes a role in an individual's life, it's not there for 10 years or 15 or 20 or 30 or 50. It is there to stay. If it doesn't stay, it is not love at all. And we know those virtues, those qualities of love that we've been looking at for quite some time now. And for us then to own this thing that is called love and exercise it very well, we need to take on some of the characteristics that it bears. And if we do that, we'd have to take certain steps to ensure that we actually practice that love. Well, here's where we began. Love that is genuine does make a choice. Love never fails. It chooses. It selects. It decides this is who and what I want to be. My mind goes to Genesis and chapter 2, about the 24th verse. After that, God has created the man and is seemingly happy. Suddenly, God observes it's not good that the man should be alone, the 18th verse. And then in the 24th verse of Genesis 2, the man sees the woman that God has given him and he says, now, this is bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. And he says, for this reason, man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and the two become. God does not force this woman upon the man. At the moment the man sights the woman, he sees a partner. This is woman, part of man. And not only does he see a partner, he also sees a friend. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of. So she's a part of me. And see how much he wants to fellowship with her. Because he names her. And he has to leave all else to cleave only to her. Who is your partner? Who is your friend? And who do you fellowship? Who are you attached to the point to which you say, I enjoy their talking, I enjoy their presence, I enjoy their everything. 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 But this is what love is. It enjoys everything. For you choose. I think of an instance in which one man's wife went away for a little while, and that was the longest period of time they'd been apart from one another. Then he turned and said to his friend, I miss my wife. Even the points of argument. You see, there is a sweetness about partnership, friendship, and the fellowship that ensues when love is at play. And you deliberately choose that. But you see, you choose to have it, not with a perfect person, but with an imperfect person. And how then can that be sweet? Well, it's a choice that you're making. And if you're making it, you will be the one to play the role through which you may perfect the person with whom you choose to partner, with whom you choose to be friends, and with whom you choose to be fellowship. It is you to make that choice. Because you've made it, then be it. But you see, in the human sense of choice, we look at the outward endearments, attractions, don't we? Genesis 24, I know I tell people when I'm doing premarital counseling, I always, and for years I've been always been to Genesis 24. Because in my opinion, it's a classic representation of premarital, marital, and post-marital, if there's such a thing as that, teaching in there. When Isaac's servant goes to pick up his woman, he says, I want one who has the quality that supersedes all the others. One above all. I mean, there are so many. How do you pick on one? But the moment you say, this is the one to whom I am getting married, that is exactly what you are saying. You stand out above all the others. And if you don't see the person you are getting into union with as that, quit immediately. You're making a choice that should last for as long as you remain alive. But there is not just the choice. There is also the character of that love. Love never. And that word never sends a sweet melody upon my soul. Because when it says never, it means it actually doesn't stop. It actually continues all the time. If the person to whom you're unified was sweet the day you met them, they are sweet 10 years later, sweeter 30 years later, sweetest 50 years later. Did you hear the story of a man whose wife was about as old as he was and wriggly in her walking? And when he came to Halifax for the first time and went to the Twin Towers, what he was taken there by one of his sons. That was the first time. But before they would get to the lift, the lift shot up with an elderly lady quickly getting in before they got there. But the moment they got there, it returned. And when it opened, a younger woman, looking very nice, came out. And the man turned to his son and said, "Hey, go and get your mother. She must be there." What you need to look at before you get married to that man, before you get married to that woman, is begin to see, project what they're going to be like 30 years from the time you get them. They're certainly not going to be the same. If you won't like their wrinkles, don't marry them. Simple as that. One woman looked at a young woman's picture and then turned to the husband and said, "Look at how beautiful she was before you spoiled her." You should like even the spoiling, because indeed you spoiled. Love never ends. Find something in you that will make you cherish him, cherish her all the time. That person who has agreed to be bonded to you as long as life ticks. But with that, love also never ceases to be respectful. What language did you use while you were courting that woman, when you were dating that man, before you said, "I do"? Are you still using the same language today? When was the last time your wife heard you say about her, "You look beautiful"? We compliment others, but those who should really hear it don't. When did you last exaggerate your husband's virtues, man? You seem to be happier when he is away. Until that loneliness strikes you again, she must come back. But what love does, it doesn't look at the wrong. It wants to be the answer to the wrong in the others. The element of our humanity is to see. You see, you haven't said any good word to me in the past week. But have you said a good word to your friend? You want a good word? Give a good word. You want encouragement? Give the encouragement. You want to be pampered? You pamper. You do. But when will love get it from the next person? Love doesn't do that. Where justice is required, it wants to be the one that is just. Where fairness is required, it's the one that wants to be fair. It's not wanting it from the next person. It's wanting itself to exercise that. And are we doing it? It's something that I should ask myself, and it's it's something that you should also very seriously ask yourself. Do I have this characteristic of love? It never fails, never does harm. It also doesn't hurt. How can you say that? How many times have this person goes endless pain? Endless. And it's understandable. You see, humanly speaking, the marriage realm is supposed to be heavenly. Because that's the way it should be when it's taken in the manner in which God intends that it should be taken. But because we bring so much of the human element in, what should be heavenly turns out to be hell-like. And it's going to be. Because this person to whom you are bonded is the one from whom the sense of expectation is highest and greatest. Because, of all the people that have been bonded to you, surely something has drawn you to them. And you want to see that. And you want to see you're the best. You want to see you're the greatest, the most attractive, the most wonderful, the most glorious, closest to the fairest of 10,000, the lily of the valley. You want to see that glow in their face when you look at them. You want to see them satisfied, and when they are hurting, they find solace in you. Wherever else they go, they can't wait to get back to you. You want to see that. And the heart is torn to pieces when it is not there. And we know how those of us who are given to work and relate with other people, when there's been sourness in the home, it just spilled over at work. And it's understandable. There is no way you can leave your wife's red eyes at home. As you are walking away and she looks at you, and you can see, and they pierce your soul. And you go jumping around, when I left you could have seen her eyes. Oh, you must be. I don't know what to say. Because if you're really human, you want those eyes that glow when they look at you and they're telling you, I can't wait for you to come back. And the same goes for you as the man goes away. You want him to smile at you and say, it hurts that I'm going away. I wish you could be together everywhere, all the time. But it's not humanly possible. But that's a character that just inbred. If it's chosen and it has that character, then it must have a conduct. Uh-oh. How does it carry itself about? Well, we borrow again the words of our Lord, who went about doing good. Let me say this. I deliberately say love never ends and bring in the marriage relationship for this simple reason. That so far as God is concerned, the primary relationship of all relationships is the marital relationship. When husband and wife are loving and tender and good and gracious to one another, those virtues will spill over to their children, who will take them to school, who will take them to work, who will take them everywhere. The source of human success is the success of the marital institution, the marriage institution. Fail at that point, and you fail elsewhere. Oh, now, are you condemning me who has had this or that past? No, I am not. All I am saying is, when you come to this relationship, begin to see it this way. Whatever the past has been, whatever went wrong, whatever was there, the baggage remains there. When I begin this relationship, I begin afresh. And here's how I will conduct myself in this relationship. I will be accepting and recognizing my partner as my partner as my friend, and my partner as one with whom I should fellowship In other words, I cannot afford to sour the relationship. I must straighten it when it seems sour, and I must shape it when it's going off the rails, and I must make sure it works. When I was in theological school and doing premarital counseling, a friend of mine later was doing that with a young couple. For some strange reason, they chose that I should do that. And then he gave me this book. And here was a motto that this man suggested should be applicable to every marriage. And I just loved it. And I've used it ever since. Young people, if you're seeking to get married, take note. If you're already married, take warning. Or both. It said, if one out of two marriages should break, it should be that one. Did you hear that? Don't say, now my marriage must break. It must always be that one. Why that one? Because God hates divorce. And so your business is to make it work. Why should we enter marriage and be striving instead of thriving? Enduring instead of enjoying? Putting up with instead of being pleased with it? Why should we do that? Because we're not listening well to God. If we do, it will be altogether different. Accept the next person and recognize them for who you are. Don't we all enjoy being accepted for who we are? Yes, we do. Oh, he takes me for who I am. So does she. It's a marvelous thing. But we should not just do that. We should also appreciate one another and encourage one another. Our God does the same. He knows we are human. He doesn't expect anything less from us as humans. And then in appreciating us and encouraging us, he tells us, oh, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to do you good and not evil. If we knew the person next to us always thought that way about us and were not ill about us, see how beautiful it would be. We all need appreciation. We all need acceptance. We all need encouragement. We all need recognition. We all do. Wherever human beings are, these features will be required. But somebody must give them. And you'll be the one to do that. And not only must we do that, we must also attend to one another and admire one another. I mean, think about it. Here's your partner who is looking at you, and meanwhile, there's something more attractive elsewhere. You're going to say, stop looking there, look this side. And our God leads us to a place where actually He pampers us. Lo, I am with you always. And He also tells us, doesn't He? I am with you always. We'll make sure you lack nothing. We'll be there to bless you, in order to make you happy, to make you rich, to make you full. Love that is real consummates. It gives no cause to go elsewhere. It gives every cause to stay here. One young woman just says to me, whatever my husband doesn't give me, I will get elsewhere. And I said, good, but tell me this. What will elsewhere give you that your husband can't give you? Nothing? No, you've answered it yourself. Then why are you being foolish? Three illustrations and we are done. A husband, just a good neighbor of mine, he was actually attending to our church and became a Christian when I was late pastor. When I went to visit with him one day, he just tells me, his child tells me, sorry, my father is not here. He's gone to the hospital. So well, my mother's been admitted to hospital. And I just thought one of those illnesses, she would be out. When I went to see her, I didn't like the sight. She just had a stroke the day before. So she was whole today, The next day she was paralyzed. Think about that. And the man began attending, and it became a big problem to him. And say, what, this woman, how can I do this? Then suddenly I saw his face light up and said, you're looking very lit up. What is the problem? He said, there's no problem actually. I've actually begun to enjoy attending to my wife, shaping her up and doing this and that, and pushing the wheelchair. And instead of being a burden, it's a joy. And as the woman looked at him, you could see her face light up. She who was a help now needed help. She's almost an invalid. Now he says, it doesn't matter what state you go in. When I said I do, I meant it for better or for worse. And you could see the man enjoy just attending to her, almost wanting to leave his job that he may just be with her. Love never ends. A young mother became mother to her own mother because she became so old and so ill that she did everything in the same place. When she eventually died, those went to condole with her would say, sorry, your mother has gone and now you can rest. And say, you're not comforting me, you're breaking my heart. I'd rather have my mother and do what I was doing than lose her at all. How many relationships have you said, I don't want this relationship anymore because it has soured, it has drawn so much out of you? Have you found the answer in yourself to be a help in that situation instead of a problem or a hurt? That's what love does. Our God has done it for us, and He expects us to do it for one another. But will we? So remember, love never fails. But when it says ends, it never ends. Rather, it always looks for new beginnings in every situation, so that relationships may remain partnerships, friendships, and fellowships. Is your love like that? Calvary spoke that to us, and are we speaking it to one another? I pray henceforth